Trail, and today is Thursday, April the 30th. I'm going to do a little PSA just to start with, especially in light of the fact that it looks like most of the states are starting to really open up. I kind of mentioned before that Nebraska didn't really shut down, although most everything was closed, and people were really being very responsible for the most part about staying home and sheltering at home. But things are going to start opening up, and I don't know that I necessarily know enough about the virus or anything to have an opinion about that one way or another. I sort of feel like, we just kind of have to trust in the common good and hope that the people in the know are making the right decisions. But I do have an opinion about this, and this is two sides of a face mask that has not yet been sewn. I think I've made about 50 or 60 masks so far, and all of ours are currently downstairs in the laundry room getting ready to be washed. But with things opening up, I think it's really, really important that we do wear a mask. And I've had this conversation with several people, educated, thoughtful, kind, good people, and their original comments to me are, well, either number one, I know I don't have coronavirus because I'm not sick and I haven't been exposed to it as far as I know, and or I'm not a person who is at risk. I don't have a high risk of really dying even if I got corona, and it's just the flu, and so if I get the flu, I get the flu. Well, that may be true, but I want to read you something that a good friend posted yesterday, and I won't read you the whole thing. It's just an excellent sort of kind of puts it into great words, the reason for wearing a mask. I wear a mask in public not for me, but for you. I want you to know that I am responsible and educated enough to know that, although I have been very careful, I could be asymptomatic and still pass the virus. I don't live in fear of the virus. I'm not participating in being part of the solution, not the problem. I am participating in being part of the solution, not the problem. I don't feel the government is controlling me. I am being a contributing adult to society, and I want to teach my children to do the same. I want them to grow up as I did, knowing that the world doesn't revolve around me, that it's not all about me and my personal comfort, that if we all live with the consideration of others in mind, this whole world would be a much better place. Wearing a mask doesn't make me weak, scared, stupid, or even controlled. It makes me a considerate, responsible adult. And the hashtag on that is doing my part, pay it forward, and emotional intelligence. And, it's true that this cotton mask is not going to do a lot to protect me from getting the virus, but it will help me to not spread it to someone else, because as we have all heard at this point, some people are asymptomatic with corona. So I wear this to make sure that if I accidentally cough or sneeze, and for whatever reason, I've been out just a little bit, and most people do obey the 6 feet distance rule, but it's hard. And sometimes you come around the corner in a store and there's someone standing there and you don't see them, and you're closer. So anyway, that's my PSA for today. As things start to open up, especially, wear a mask. Okay, on to much more fun stuff. Okay, the giveaway. So it was Noelle Sampler by Brenda Gervais. I had an extra copy of this, and this time around we had 33 comments from people who were interested in the sampler, and I did random number generator 1 to 33, and I was going to show you. It's so interesting. I numbered them. I wrote them down, and I numbered them backwards. So like the first person who left a comment was number 1. Was number 33. And then I ran random number generator, and it pulled up number 33. who was the wonderful Roxy Voorhees. So, Roxy, if you will email me, I'll put my email address below. If you will email me your mailing address, I will get a Wow Sampler in the mail to you as soon as possible. And would you guys let me know when you receive the giveaways? I mailed the 2 little heart and hand charts earlier this week, and hopefully Long Dog Stitcher Jenny has received those. But just let me know. I mailed a set of masks to my daughter and her husband who live in Chicago 2 weeks ago today, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and they never showed up. And it was a set of 6 masks, 2 for her, 2 for her husband, and 2 for a good friend of theirs. And they never showed up. And we looked at the tracking, and according to the U.S. Postal Service, they were delivered, but they weren't delivered. So we don't know. And she went to her neighbors to see if maybe one of her neighbors had gotten them. And so would you let me know? I'm sure the Postal Service is just so overwhelmed right now that, but I just want to make sure that you're getting what I say I'm sending. So, Roxy, send me your address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. Okay, for this week, our giveaway, it was really funny. I didn't know what I was going to do for a giveaway, and yesterday I went down to go through my, I wanted to go through my everyday charts looking for something to stitch for a friend who has a birthday coming up. And as I was going through it, I came upon Little House Needleworks Farm Life, which never been opened, just nice brand new chart, which I have in a project bag all kitted up, and I actually stitched on it earlier this week. And I don't know if it's in my pile of stuff, but so this is a duplicate that I didn't even catch the first time around. So I will send this off to you. Now, I'll tell you what attracted me about this chart. Really what didn't attract me. I love the quilt, for one thing, over here. This little row of little individual carrots is just cute as anything, and I have stitched that in the, well, we'll see if it's in my thing, and I'll tell you about it here in a second. But what attracted me about this is just the whole farm. I've always wanted, I'm a city girl, never lived on a farm. I've lived on an acreage that I called a farm, but it wasn't a farm. But yeah, I've always wanted to live on a farm and have sheep and goats and cows and pigs and chickens and all of that good stuff. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but so that's what attracted me to this. So for the question for this chart, if you're interested in getting this chart, city life or farm life, what's your preference? And I'll do the same thing next week, either have Maddie read through the comments or do random number generator, and I will get that in the mail to you. Okay, so as far as stitching, well, I don't even know where to start. I have a lot to show you. As far as stitching goes, I thought that by today I would have my Mania plans, or lack thereof, figured out, and would be able to give you some great, system that I'm planning to do. And I've talked to everybody and their uncle about what they're doing, and I've gotten all kinds of different bits of information about what other people are doing, and one plan is just better than the next, right? And so I sort of had a plan. I watched Lindy Stitches, Stephanie, several days ago, and she's doing Stitch Sania. And so what she's doing is she's picking one focus project for the whole month of May and working on that Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, and she has a goal for each week in May. And then on the weekends, if she accomplishes her goal, then she can have a new start. And I thought, oh, that's just a great idea. That's just a great idea. But then I had realized, I was kind of looking through the calendar, and I realized I have a couple birthdays coming up for several different friends, and really wanting to stitch something for them. And so kind of got those started, and thought, well, if I have a focal project, but I'm trying to get these things done for gifts, and I shouldn't have any new starts, because I said I wasn't going to have any new starts. And so I don't know, what seems to work the best for me, at least at this point, is just to kind of go with the flow. And that's what I'm doing. I am still finding it a little bit hard to sit and just stitch, although I've done it and I've gotten a lot accomplished. I had an FFO that I'll try to insert a picture of here. It was another one of the Be Well pieces. I don't remember whose. I sent that. We have really, really close friends who live in Greeley, Colorado. He's a doctor there and she works for the hospital. They don't have enough masks. He has proper masks for work, although only like enough for one a day, if that. But they don't have, they needed masks to, go out and about and go to the grocery store and what have you. And someone had made them one and Brent had worn it so much that it had broken. And so he was wearing a bandana. And so anyway, I made them a set of masks and then I made them a little, Be Well pillow. And so I started that. I think I started that last Friday and finished it here on Tuesday and got that in the mail yesterday. And so, yeah, so I, am getting things done, but just kind of in my own time. So I'm sure I'll have some starts in May, and I think I'm just going to kind of go, if I feel like starting something, maybe I'll start something, and maybe what I'll do is just track how many new starts I have and just kind of go from there. My friend Gail, I've kind of talked about this in the past, that her birthday's in March and we, didn't get a chance to celebrate, and now things are going to open up, and so I think we'll get a chance to celebrate here in the next few weeks. And so I don't know if I had a dream or what, but I had a thought yesterday, and see, this is how my mind works. I had a thought yesterday morning of something I wanted to make her in wool applique. And so, and what was happening was I was looking at the calendar for May, and I have in my laundry room, I have calendars. I think I've talked about this too before. I have calendars in almost every room of my house. I love calendars. I love calendars. And I love, turning the page and seeing what's going on in the next month. And I love seeing what the picture is for the next, I have no idea. I've just always loved calendars. And so in my laundry room, my calendar is a calendar that has Bible verses and a different Bible verse and kind of a realistic picture. And I turned the calendar over to May yesterday. I for my work, I'm always working at least one day, if not 5 days ahead. If you notice, my perpetual Snoopy calendar always is turned to the next day. So I have a regular calendar up on the wall, but then my Snoopy calendar is always turned to the next day, because when I do my work, I'm doing, for example, this morning when I worked, I did work for May 1st. So I tend to turn my calendars over on about the last day or second to last day of the month, because that's just how my mind works. I'm looking towards the next day. And it had a great Bible verse for May. And so it occurred to me what I wanted to make her. And so I sketched this up and then traced it onto freezer paper, and it's now tacked down, and then I need to stitch it. But what I did was just this little bird and the little bee and the flowers, and none of it is stitched down yet, obviously. And then over here on this side, it will be the Bible verse. That'll be on it. That's going to be on a piece of off-white cotton fabric. And then I'm going to put a white scallopy backing on it, and I'll probably quilt it a little bit. And then I was looking for something to mount it on, but I don't have anything appropriate enough to mount it on. And so I may just do it as a hanging wall quilt, or maybe, I don't know quite how I'll finish it, but some way I'll finish it. So anyway, and this the Bible verse that I chose, I didn't bring that upstairs, I'm stitching that downstairs, is from Psalm 91:4, and I don't know what's wrong with me. It has to do with God covering us with his wing. So I don't know why that makes me choke up. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's talk stitching, because that does not make me choke up. All right, so I think a few of these things I kind of started last weekish. Most of them were not things that they were not new charts. They were just new starts. And some of them aren't starts. Some of them are just things I was working on. But this was a new chart, and I think I showed it, the June Trucking Along. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do every month of this. I love it. I really do love it. But my birthday's in June. I love strawberries. I thought the white truck was really, really cute. I like the way, again, you know, the monthly stuff. I always love the monthly stuff. And I like how this can be done separately. So you could, you know, I could finish this and then take, if I didn't want to do every month, and then take the June off, and this could stay up for the summer. I don't know. We'll see. Someone asked me, this is a random piece of fabric that I hand dyed using royal blue RIT dye. I tried doing it on 28 count Witchelt black, and I could not see the holes. And so I decided blue, a little bit of a darker blue, but I wanted it to be a fadey dark. And so I dyed this in royal blue RIT dye, and then immediately rinsed it, and rinsed as much of the dye out of it as I could possibly rinse out. And then I dried it in the sun, and it okay, that's showing pretty close to true. It's a really pretty blue, and it just looks, and it, you know, it's dark enough to let those strawberries and the white pop, but it's not so dark that I can't see it. Now, there is a mistake in this. In the truck, in the front wheel of the truck, I'm off a stitch, but I just decided to go with it. I was talking to Buckeye Nicole the other night, and she's working on her New York piece, and she said it has kind of intricate trees, fall trees at the top of it, and she said the trees just gave her fits, but they look really good now, and they just gave her fits. And I looked at not at the chart, but I looked at her, you know, her stitch piece, and you can just see there's, I don't know how many different colors in each tree, and they're, you know, foliage. I mean, they're fully bloomed out. And I said I would have taken one look at that, and I would have completely winged it. I would not have followed the chart on those. I would have kind of gotten an idea, and then I just would have stitched, because, you know, but they look great the way that she did it. And so we were laughing about the fact that I'm just a wing it kind of a person, and she's definitely not. And when you see our stitching side by side, and I have stitched side by side with Miss Nicole, you can tell. You can totally tell that I'm a wing it kind of person. My stitching is not nearly as precious as hers, but, you know, it is what it is. It's good. And then a steam iron will do wonders for this. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, I'm stitching this in 3 different colors of red. The only thing I did have was the bamboo for the truck, for the white. But I did not have the called for, I think it was ribbon red, and I didn't have any ribbon red, although I love ribbon red. And so I'm stitching this in a piece of Buckeye Scarlet, which is one of my favorite reds, but I didn't have very much. A little bit of DMC 3777 and a little bit of DMC 498. So 3 different colors, but I like the look that has to it. So the strawberries have some highs and lows in them. It's a little hard to see. So yeah, I like how that looks, and it's very different, but it works, and you know, it kind of makes me happy. I decided, I have a hard time, I'm not a green person. I don't generally like a lot of greens. But this came from, I think, Priscilla and Chelsea thread pack, maybe like the spring or the tulip thread pack, and it's steamed broccoli. This is the green. Don't want to show you the chart there. This is the green. It's called steamed broccoli. This may be one of my favorite. It's just really a true, kind of a true green. That may be one of my new favorite colors, and I think this would make a really pretty Christmas green too. So, but I don't think I see green quite right. I think maybe I'm a little bit colorblind when it comes to green, and so a lot of times I don't like greens, but I love the way that looks. Love it. So, okay, so that's trucking along. And this is just, I kind of just worked on what I felt like all week. Oh, this was fun. I did this the other night while Maddie and I were watching The Bachelor. No, yeah, The Bachelor, the singing Bachelor show, which is so dumb. But, you know, we're kind of running out of things to watch. If anyone has suggestions on things to watch, you know, I love British TV, not so much comedy, more the dramas, or the detective type stuff. But I did find on Netflix the other day, and I had started to watch this maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and it was too dark and I turned it off. But it's a Ricky Gervais. I think he wrote and he directs it and he stars in it. It's called Afterlife. And it's a story about a man whose wife dies of cancer after kind of a long illness, and his life after that. And the first couple of episodes are very, very dark. You think of Ricky Gervais, comedian, you know, kind of funny. But the first couple of episodes were so dark that I thought, ugh, no, not for me. Well, it gets better. And he was also such a horrible person in the first couple of episodes, but you see this great progression. And I started watching it just because I was like, I couldn't find anything to watch. And the new season had come out, and so I started watching it, and I love it. And now I'm up to season 2, and it's good. I mean, it is a little bit dark, but it does show kind of how he goes through the grieving process and really comes out so far a better person on the other side. So much thanks to his wife, who left him a series of videos to watch. So, okay, so, but I worked on this during The Bachelor, and I had started this last year during Mania, and I had about 20 stitches in it, and someone showed it. I can't remember if it was, I feel like it was Misty Purcell showed it in her video, and I paused the video and went downstairs, dug through my, you know, working charts, found it, and brought it upstairs. So it's the Silver Creek Samplers, what's it called? I don't know what it's called, but it's this. I don't know what the title is to it. Liberty, maybe, Freedom. I love this. I think it's so cool. So all I had stitched to start with was the lighter part of the barn. And I couldn't even, it took me at least 10 minutes to orient my fabric because I couldn't figure out, it looked to me like I had started down here and I couldn't figure out what I was working with. Well, once I got, so then I went in and I filled in with this red. This is all in DMC. And I filled in with this red, and then I filled the numbers in, and then I was having so much fun stitching this, and I really would like to get back to this today. It's just these colors. Let me tell you what they are. Let me see if I can find it in here. I guess it's not all DMC. There's some, is this my, there's 2 things in here, so I can't tell if this is, I think that lighter color, no, it's not all DMC. I'm sorry. It's a combination of DMC and Weeks. That lighter color, I believe, is Honeydew by Gentle Arts. And then the darker slats in the barn are 642, DMC 642. And the red is very interesting too. It is this the red? No, see, I feel like this is the wrong chart. I might be giving you bad information. I might be giving you bad information. Oh, look, there's a pair of glasses. The red is 632. It's just this really rusty red. And I thought, that is not red. But really on here, it does look red, right? So anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with that. And the gold is mustard seed, which is, I love. That's a great color. So, so I worked on that, and that was a lot of fun. And then here is, as you can see, here is Farm Life. Farm Life. This one is worked. No, it's not. I was going to say all in DMC, mostly in DMC. There are a couple of other colors. And that's how far I got on that. I had done the carrots and a little bit of the wagon, and so I finished the wagon, started the words, And this is on a piece of Ada that was dyed by Teresa Kitten Stitcher, and I love it. It's really fun to work on. So yeah, so there's Farm Life. So there's 2 things in there, as well as a pair of cheaters that I was looking for earlier this week. It's because Maddie and I got banished to my bedroom to watch The Bachelorette because the boys didn't know. They wanted, or The Bachelor, whatever it's called. They didn't listen to your heart. That's what it's called. They didn't want to have anything to do with that. Okay, remember a couple weeks ago I had a video that I had to redo because it deleted and all kinds of weird things happened. One of the things I talked about in that video was right after I said I wasn't going to have start anything new, I got a delivery of some things that I had previously ordered from Jen's Stitching Niche, and one of those was Snowman Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. I have several of these. I love them. And so I was in the mood and I started Frosty. And so here is Frosty. Now this project got put in timeout, and this is in the category of me winging things. So I started it and thought, wow, it's going to be a really tiny project. I started up here. I started with the border, and then I put the trees in, and I'm off. Such a shock, because I apparently don't know how to count. And so look at this. Look at where the border, look at where the sled is, and look at where the border is, and look at the picture. The sled is not supposed to be in the border. So I thought about ripping everything out. I mean, I would have to rip so much out, and I'm not going to do it. I did put it away for a bit, but I'm going to just go ahead and continue the border to maybe here, and then start it up here and call it good. I think these would look so cute up on the wall in the wintertime as like almost like put, you know, framed in matching frames, and then almost like portraits of your family. I also have the turkey one. I have several of the houses, and I have the turkey one, which I really love, and the trios from Waxing Moon, and the I think there's one with a set of topiaries that I have that's really cute. Okay, things are falling. Okay, this was another thing along with the Silver Creek samplers. Someone showed this. Can't remember who. I think that Pam of Pam and Just Keep Stitching. I think that she finished this last year, and it's gorgeous. And I started it and did the one over, and then never pulled it out again. But it's Heritage Sampler by Plum Street. And so I had all of these projects laid out, and was just in the mood to stitch and couldn't decide what to stitch, so I made Ryan choose, just because he happened to be there, standing there. He was regretting that, trying to run away as fast as he could. And so this is the one that he chose, though. And this is on, I don't know what, a piece of, I think it's a piece of fabric I dyed, but I could be completely wrong. A piece of fabric that I baked and basted. I used Vanna's tutorial, and it's must be higher count. It must be 36, and I'm doing it 1/2 on 36. And I had the boat and this all done, and part of this satin stitched border, so I finished that and then started on the pumpkins. And yeah, so a long way to go on that still. Long way. That will not be done by July, that's for sure, but it is fun. And then I pulled out just a little bit of Olga's stocking. And what did I work on Olga's stocking? Let's see, I'll show you the picture. Olga's stocking, which I love. I worked on the house. And the shutters on the windows actually have 3 colors in them. And the 2 colors, so on the shutters, every other stitch is a different color. I mean, in 2 colors. And you can't even tell. My skeins are so similar. It's 2 different. It's I think it's ginger snap and like maple syrup, or ginger snap and what is this one? Sarsaparilla by Gentle Art. But anyway, so it took a while to get those windows all. I mean, I worked on this of an evening, and I think I did a little bit of the roof too. So yeah, that's kind of slow going. Just lots of colors in a small little space. But I probably should have just hooked or stitched them, you know, the same color. But anyway, I did what it said to do. Okay, so then I worked on the thing for our friends that live in Colorado, and then yesterday I had another new start that I can't show you. That's super cute. It's from a big chart, but I'm just doing one little section of it for a friend, and I think I'm going to do it as a pillow is my plan, but I don't know. It would also look cute as a drum or something different. It would also look cute framed, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I need to get that done before the end of the month. So that's kind of what I'm working on. I've been sewing masks and doing some wool applique. I have been knitting. I started a new knitting project this week. I don't think I have that in here, do I? I do. Hold on just a second. It's actually right here below me. I forgot I had put it down here to get it out of the way of the dog. I may have alluded to this last week. This is called, what? What is this called? This is called the Breathe in Hope shawl by Casa Pinka. Pink House, maybe? I don't know. And it was a free pattern. Can I show you this part? I think I can show you that. It was a free pattern from my local knitting store, which is called Imaginette. And if you bought the 2 skeins that it called for, then you got the pattern for free on Ravelry. And so I actually bought 6 skeins because, and I may not do this 6 times, but because I had not yet supported my knitting store. I hadn't bought anything from my knitting store in this time. And it was really fun because I called the shop to place the order. She put pictures online of all of her yarn that she had kitted up for this particular project. And she must have had, I don't know how many different sets of 2, you know, a solid and a more modelly or stripy yarn. Kitted up, and then you could just, and she labeled them all, you know, 1A, 2A, whatever. And so you could just call the store and tell her which one you wanted and go from there. And so I picked 3, and the 2 that I started with are, I don't even know what kind of yarn this is, guys. I'm sorry, I did not, but they're this is sort of a slate gray, bluey gray, and then this is a golden yellow with some gray and blue in it. It's really a cool yarn. And this is the beginning of the shawl, and it's so cool because I learned a new stitch that I had to go online and look at. But I learned a new stitch, and so you knit straight rows, you feel like you're knitting straight rows, but you develop this little curvy thing down here with increases and decreases. And it's just, I love it. It's so fun, and just really, this yarn is super soft. I love it. So anyway, so it's 2 rows of the blue and then 2 rows of the yellow, and on and on. And I was trying to figure out, so you start little and you increase and get big, and there's 4 pages of instructions, so a lot of different instructions. But it's not difficult. Nothing is difficult other than that one new stitch that I learned, which was, for those of you who knit, that new stitch was called so the initials were K1B. So to me, I would think that was knit 1 back. but what it stands for is knit into the stitch below, and so you actually knit into the stitch below and then pull both stitches off the needle, and it gives you a more textured feeling to it. And yeah, so it was fun learning a new stitch, and I've been working on that this week, and that's been a lot of fun. So okay, I have traveled on a lot, enough, plenty. I'm gonna do a little editing and go change the laundry, which I'm trying to get done today. My hair, it's getting really rough around here. My hair is getting bad. It is looking horrid. I spent time on it this morning. I thought it looked halfway decent. And then went to film and thought, nope, it doesn't. It doesn't look good at all. And I have an appointment May 22nd, so we'll see if I'll be able to keep that appointment. If they're at this point, salons and tattoo parlors are opening up on Monday. Restaurants can open up with 50% capacity if all waiters and waitresses, all the staff wear masks. I think on Monday, Costco, and I forget which one other store is going to require everyone to wear a mask. Even their patrons. So that's a good thing. But anyway, so salons are opening back up. So talked to my hairstylist yesterday, and May 22nd. And I don't know if I'm going to make it without taking the scissors to it before then, but I'm going to try to. I am really considering not ever dyeing it again. I know it looks terrible now, but I may stop coloring it. I'm really liking not coloring it, and so we'll see. She'll probably talk me out of that, but I don't know. Kind of what I'm thinking about. Okay, so I'll come back in a week-ish with the giveaway again. Little House Needleworks Farm Life. If you're interested, tell me if you're a city girl or boy or or man or farm person, or if you were born in one and would rather live in the other, or what you prefer. And I'm gonna let you go. I hope you have a great day. I hope it's sunny where you are, and hope to talk to you soon. Bye, guys.